Yeah, I got it
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Also in the room?
Yep, we can see your slides.
Great. Then I can start. I'm visible. Okay, that's great. So I am Sterre van der Kaaij, and I am a PhD student at Wageningen University in the Netherlands. And I'm presenting today on behalf of my colleagues Leah and Yara. We're from Health and Society Department. And I think, as you all know, the food system is in a need for change, and food practices in high-income countries are characterized by unhealthy food patterns. It's inequitable and it's also environmental damaging, and therefore change is needed at all levels. And we think that the local food system is a good entry point for this. Community-based initiatives which promote sustainable and healthy food consumption practices are promising, but we were wondering, can their impact also be modeled? So that's why we tried to make an agent-based model about that. So we modeled a community-driven food initiative, which was a free cooking night in a neighborhood, and it utilized rescued local fruits and vegetables, and the aim was to encourage healthier eating habits, promote local food products, and enhance social connectivity within the neighborhood. For us, there were three areas of interest. We wanted to know if there are factors that hinder or encourage participation, and what the impact is of participation on eating habits and social cohesion. So first, we dove into the literature about what are factors that can make people engage in community initiatives. We focused on the individual level factors and key motivations for being in a community initiative is because of it relieves personal, physical, mental, and emotional issues. People are seeking for social connections and people are fostering a sense of community. But on the other hand, there are also barriers to participating in such initiatives because people have a lack of time, they have competing priorities, they have cultural obstacles. So there are a lot of factors that also hinder engagement. But when someone decides to attend or not, we were also interested in what are the impacts of attending such a cooking class. According to literature, it has a positive effect on psychosocial and behavioral outcomes. For example, on attitudes, self-efficacy, and healthier food intake. And for healthier food intake, it was reported that there can be a modest but significant increase in food and vegetable intake when people attend cooking classes. And additionally, it can also have a positive impact on social outcomes. People can increase their social interactions in the neighborhood. So our research aim was to explore the impact of the cooking night on various aspects of community life and provide insights in how localized action can contribute to broader systematic changes in the food system. This is in line with our main research question, and we broke it down in three sub-research questions. We wanted to know how the participation influences the vegetable consumption and the weight of the participants, what influence participating has on the social connection of the participants, but we also wanted to know if the participants from the cooking night could influence non-participants in their neighborhood. So for example, you can talk to your neighbors and then share your experience with a cooking night. So our model runs for 20 time steps, weeks, and each time step a cooking night is held, and it's based on empirical data and established relational dynamics, and we implemented it in NetLogo. So this is what our model looked like in the beginning. So at week 1, we have 2 types of agents, neighborhood residents, so that are the people in the grid, and the location of the cooking night, which is the green flag. And residents have a lot of attributes. For example, they have a specific amount of time, they are extrovert or introvert, they have a specific curiosity level, they have a weight, they have a distance to the cooking night, and based on this, they have certain needs for attending a cooking night or not. Because the cooking night also has some characteristics. So we assumed that the cooking night has a duration of 40 minutes, attracted extrovert people with a certain curiosity level, and people with a certain weight. So these are all assumptions that you can, of course, change when you want to model different scenarios. So take you step by step through a model. When the time step starts, the resident compares his abilities and interests with attributes of the cooking night, and he decides to go or not go to the cooking class. We broke this down in 4 conditions. So if the workshop time is less or equal than the resident's available time minus the travel time, the condition is met. The same for the dietary requirement and the resident's weight, the workshop socialization types and the resident's type. So if someone is extrovert, this matches the condition, and if the workshop skill level requirement matches the resident's curiosity. So based on this, and this is a really simplified condition, of course, but if we base this on the attendance probability, so based on these conditions, a score is calculated, and the higher the score for the conditions is, the higher the attendance probability. So the more likely people are going to the event. So when people go to the event, a lot of things are happening. So people update their social links. So they create social links with other workshop participants if they do not already exist, because you cannot bond with the same person when you're going to the workshop again. The vegetable consumption is increasing. As I already showed, the literature assumes that it can increase because of the cooking night. And there's also a reduction in weight when you eat more vegetables. But as I told you in the beginning, we're also curious about what was happening with the non-participants, so the people from your neighborhood. And we assumed that if the participants tell the non-participants about their experience, they update their curiosity for the cooking night, and in this way it also increases the attendance probability of the non-participants because they become more curious to be in the cooking night. So coming back to our research question, I will answer the 3 sub-questions. Firstly, how does the participation influence the vegetable consumption and the weight? On the left, you can see the graph for the vegetable consumption. And as you can see, the introduction of a cooking night enhances the vegetable consumption among participants. It went up from 3.4 servings per day to 4.6 servings per day. And of course, this is due to the fact that the cooking night attendance increased the vegetable consumption. And there was also a high engagement level. So a lot of people went to the cooking night based on the conditions. But as you also can see, the increase becomes smaller because we incorporated in the model that there is diminishing return, which means that the increasement becomes smaller with each additional workshop, because your improvement is also, you cannot eat a lot of more vegetables in the end. So for the weight, as you can see, there's also a slight reduction in average participant weight, but it's still really small. But this is really logical because the intervention was really short. It was only 20 weeks, and vegetable consumption is not only the primary driver for weight loss. And then for which impact does the cooking night have on the social connections of the participants? Here you can see that the cooking night facilitates the formation of new social connections. And this is really in the beginning. So in the beginning, a lot of new links are formed and then it stabilizes. But it is also because of the fact that there's a high engagement level. So everyone goes to the cooking night in the beginning, they form links with each other, and once formed, these links are also maintained. So in the end, there's really a saturated network. But what was really interesting is that there were also some people in the network that didn't form a link and became really isolated from the whole network that was connected. So the whole neighborhood was connected, despite only 3 people, for example. So, and then going further to how the participants affect the non-participants, you can see the same graph. Yeah, it's the same line, the same thing as previously, because you can also see that the cooking night facilitates a modest increase in resident curiosity in the beginning. But this is also because of the fact that a lot of people are going into in the beginning and they tell their neighbors about it and they update their curiosity. But we bounded the curiosity because we thought it was not, it is not really realistic that if someone tells you 10 times about a workshop, that it's still interesting to you. So at some point, it doesn't matter anymore if people tell you about the workshop. So going back to the main research question, according to our model, community cooking nights can play a significant role in promoting healthier eating habits and fostering social connection. And it also highlights the potential for similar interventions in other communities. For further research, we would recommend to explore longer-term interventions because this was only a cooking night of 20 weeks. And also consider additional engagement factors such as family involvement and community support. And lastly, we think it's very important to explore broader systematic changes to maximize the benefits, because there, on a policy level, there are some policy changes needed and some other resource allocations. So we would recommend to look at a broader system. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm curious if you have any questions.